The Miami Dolphins have made the biggest splash so far in the 2013 free agency period for the NFL. You would expect Dolphins to make a splash, and they did when they signed Mike Wallace away from the Pittsburgh Steelers to give Ryan Tannehill and the Dolphins offense a lot of speed on the outside, which is going to open things up for their running game, their tight ends, and their running backs. You'll see games where Wallace doesn't get a lot of catches, but the offense is going to be more productive with that threat and that need for a safety to come over the top and double cover this guy. Now, as an Eagles fan, I'm a little bit jealous of the Dolphins right now because I had high hopes to see Wallace on the other side of Deshaun Jackson and watch Michael Vick flick that wrist and throw the ball 70 yards downfield because you can't double cover both of them. However, congratulations to the Dolphins for stealing Mike Wallace, I feel the best free agent receiver out there, save for possibly Greg Jennings out of Green Bay. Good job. Now that leaves some hope that the Eagles or some team that someone else might be following could land one of the other wide receivers which are out there. You've got an uncertain future with Wes Welker and the Patriots. The Patriots are famous for not paying older veterans, no matter how much loyalty comes into the picture. They want to keep them, but they're not going to pay above market value. So you've got Danny Amendola as well coming out of St. Louis. Yesterday, two big ones came off the market. It was more of a trade situation. You had Bolden go from the Ravens over to San Francisco, of course, and you had Percy Harvin going over to Seattle Seahawks to battle it out in that same division. But on the free agency front, the Dolphins, where they benefited at wide receiver, are going to suffer on the offensive line most likely, because some of that money will not be able to be used now to re-sign Jake Long, who did have an off year, but has been a stalwart at offensive tackle for years for the Dolphins, ever since Bill Parcells drafted him way back when. So maybe Jake Long ends up on another team, hopefully the Eagles. We'll see. We've got running back for Miami being a big question mark. With Reggie Bush having reinvented his career in Miami, he's now visiting Detroit and will likely sign somewhere else. However, I'm not worried about the running back position. Whoever's there is going to benefit from your new signing in a passing league with Mike Wallace, because he is a speed burner going down the sideline. In fact, Pittsburgh is going to suffer their offense with all the time that Roethlisberger holds that ball looking for someone to break deep. It's going to be one less fast guy he has. Now, Pittsburgh, to their credit, did go out and sign Plexico Burress, who's old. He didn't play last year, but if he has anything left in the tank, that'll help them replenish the cupboard, if you will, at the receiver position. So this is a big free agency for wide receiver. You had Paul Kruger going over to the Browns today, and in a not so surprising move, unless you look at salary cap implications, you had the Buffalo Bills take Ryan Fitzpatrick and release him outright. Now, he had a huge contract. He played really well in relief for injured quarterbacks. That's what he was a backup. He played like a starter before the contract, and after the contract, he played like a backup. So it was clearly a mistake, a bust contract on behalf of the Bills. And they did bring in Travaris Jackson to compete for the starting job. However, they'll probably be looking in the draft as well. So there you have the two biggest things that happened today, in my opinion, were Buffalo cutting Fitzpatrick after that huge contract, and Mike Wallace signing with the Miami Dolphins to give Ryan Tannehill a deep threat.